Yeah.
Me personally or professionally?
You personally.
Right now, I'm dealing with clients not paying their bills. So some days I want to just go totally berserk. Um, but I come back every center and I realize what I'm doing it for. And I recognize that some of these things are due to me not having up the proper boundaries,
Mm,
um, and not being proactive enough. So it comes back to me. So I have to take accountability for that. Now I know that sounds cool and sexy, right? Because there's some people, I mean, I know there's some people right there that are living on the edge, and I'm not rich, not yet. But I've watched some clients like really freak out when a client doesn't pay their invoice or doesn't do something, and it can be really stressful on them. And I get it, but I guess
mhm.
I'm also old too, right? The standard. I think I'm probably the oldest one here. I think I'm older than Justin. I'm not sure yet, but
You're not that old, Kamari.
no, it's not about being that old. But you got to realize I've been in tax and financial services for over 30 years,
Gotcha.
so I've seen a lot. I've done a lot, um, and like I tell people, I've seen everything, but every time, every year, something surprises me. Right? Humans never cease to amaze me.
Mm,
Yeah, because and that's one of the things I wanted to bring up was because dealing with the people, but also your family, and I think family adds a different layer
Mhm.
to your finances in the sense of something that you'll let family get by with that you wouldn't let a stranger get by with.
mhm.
Well, oddly enough, those folks who I'm having the hardest trouble with were so-called friends, and they are the
Mm,
ones who were able to. Matter of fact, I got a family member that. Matter of fact, a couple of family members that owe me some money, but yeah, those are the ones who get you.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, I've heard stories and seen situations of like a father who has let his daughter move into a rental property that they own, um, and essentially in that situation, daughter took advantage of the situation,
Mhm.
didn't pay on time, didn't do all that, and the father did cut her some slack for a while, but then he did go through it. I mean, he did go through the eviction process, and while she was going through that, I mean, it was, I'm not coming to Thanksgiving. I mean, it was
Yeah,
really those deep
feelings are
family
involved.
issues.
Yeah,
But a couple years after that, she came back to him and she's like, I am so glad you made me go through that, because now I realize the value of what you did for me in that situation, that you were allowing me to live in that place for that time when I needed it. Um, and she's now looking back on that differently, but going through it, it's rough,
yeah.
dealing with
Yeah.
family.
It's funny, right? When I was much younger, and I was living at home with my mom, and my mother and father had separated many years, and my dad moved into a triplex. I was like, Dad, I need an apartment. He was like, Why? Me and my mom beefing. Okay, I got to work that out. It
Right.
wasn't even it wasn't even a conversation. He was like, You're not coming over here, buddy. And
Mhm.
She said,
looking back on it now, I mean, I probably would have been the perfect tenant, even if my money wasn't right. He would have got me to do all kinds of maintenance or whatever. However, I was still kind of in that in between phase of when I wasn't totally established. So I get it. And it's like sometimes you want to just avoid the problem. It's like I tell my children all the time, see the problem before it happens. Most problems you can kind of see before they happen, because it's like you don't even need to go there.
right,
Don't even, if there's any possibility that there's going to be a problem, avoid it at all cost.
definitely. And so having that discussion is the most important thing, which is communication. So we understand that communication can like if you have an issue and if you don't address it head on, it will sit there and fester with you for on and on. And how to, put the focus on the habit side of the house. So one of the habits that I do is if I have an issue, and this is kind of a trigger, if I feel like I'm triggered in some way, my first thing is to first sit down and assess myself. What is going on? What
Mhm.
have I contributed to the situation? and
Mhm.
what has that person done to actually make this emotion come out of me? And then I would actually say, you know what, let me just have this conversation because maybe I'm just reading into it too much. And when it comes to dealing with that, I have noticed that I'm a lot happier by facing most of the issues head on, to know that I'm not always in my head about something because I don't know, versus taking that time to really unravel what the heck the issue is. And when it comes to family, it's been helpful because like I don't have any ill will or anything like that. I have a conversation. If I don't like the outcome or what happened in that conversation, it is what it is. Um, do I talk
Yep.
to them later?
Yeah.
Probably not, but it is.
No, I totally agree. I totally agree. But I want to add to that though. It's something that as I get older, again, I'm not saying the oldest, right? I'm finding that it's great to have communication, and that is a great practice. However, there are some people that just don't comprehend. So
Mhm.
it's like you can communicate, you can be the very best communicator, and they just don't comprehend, or you all are not evenly yoked, not to be overly religious, but not truly yoked in a good way where you should even be doing certain things with certain
Mhm.
people, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. And they may not be prepared to hear what you have to say.
Correct.
Um, and they're either not hearing it at all, or they're perceiving it in a way that you did not intend. Um, but even still, get put the only way you're going to know that is if you put that communication out there and then kind of see what you get back. If you get back a thoughtful, response to what you're presenting, or if you get back something that's coming from a very emotional place. Yeah. And it also gets back to the original definition we had at the beginning of the show about what stress is and where it comes from, that real versus perceived. Because before you have that conversation, you have built up in your mind how this person is going to respond. And usually, and at least in my experience, what I've built up in my mind is nothing like the way the person actually does respond when I actually have that communication with them.
Right. So we know we're coming up in the holidays, and having that conversation is very important. And having that conversation is mostly about setting up those boundaries. You know what I'm saying? So,
Mhm.
how are y'all setting boundaries for the holidays this year?
Well, for the holidays,
Yeah,
or so
for the
for
holidays.
me, business is every day. So I'm setting better boundaries with my clients. I do have a story I would love to share with y'all in a second, but I don't want to hijack the show, Anthony. But it was I damn near had a whole panic attack yesterday, um, because a client had reached out to me and they said, "Hey, I've been trying to catch you for 2 years." And I go back and I look, well, damn, we haven't talked in
Wow.
2 years. And I'm freaking out. I'm like really freaking out. Like, this guy paid me some money. And I'm thinking, well, damn, did I forget it? Did I not do it? Did I just, drop the ball? And I was freaking out, but I said, you know what? Let me just call. So
Mm,
I just called right away and we talked. And as I dug into his file, I actually did everything I was supposed to do, getting back to deliverables. What I did not do is I usually send all my clients an email summarizing everything that I did, and then letting them know I've done this part of XYZ service and we're done, and anything else we can do. I did not do that part. So I'm guilty of that. But
Mm.
again, I was freaking out. I was stressed out because I really felt like I
Mhm.
didn't deliver, didn't do anything. And I do not like, I don't like not doing anything because, Anthony, I talk crazy about scammers. I hate scammers.
yeah,
Um, I never want to be
Mhm.
anything near them. But we
Yeah.
do all fall down from time to time, right? We make mistakes. And
Yeah.
so it was like,
Yeah.
all right, it wasn't malicious. I wasn't doing anything wrong. I actually did do the job. I just couldn't pinpoint it right at
Mhm.
the time he emailed me. So that's just
Yeah.
something I personally deal with when it comes
Yeah.
to stress sometimes.
Yeah. No, I think a lot of people don't really understand that. A lot of us who are either that are out here creating content, whether it's a podcast or a book, or we're doing tax work for people or whatever, there is a perfectionist streak that
Yes.
run through a lot of us.
Yes.
And when you call us and say, I've been trying to catch you for 2 years.
Oh, for the
Like,
record, I'm not sure how we got disconnected, but I did the work. But to your point, Justin, it's like, not only do we have a perfectionist streak, right?
Mm-hmm.
I also have a fear or a lack of trust also, right? Because I deal with a lot of personal client information, social security numbers, things like that. And so I'm really hesitant about who I work with and who I bring on, because the last thing I want to have a conversation about or a client is, one of my employees absconded with your information or something bizarre like that, and weird things happen. But you're right. And perfectionism is definitely part of that.
Yeah. For me in the real estate space, if I have to go into somebody's apartment for any reason, when I leave, I am double checking, triple checking, quadruple checking that door to make sure that I locked it on my way out, because I do not want them to come back and say, oh, my antique heirloom that my great grandmother gave me is missing and you had access and let's figure out what happened. I don't want to have that conversation. So
well, Justin, I got a story for you, Justin.
Before
you appreciate this story.
Before you get to the story,
I'm sorry.
I have a guest.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That I want to add in right quick. She's been, we gotta get some female. We gotta get some extra.
Of course, we love the ladies.
Of course,
right.
Bring
so, as male dominance is it's kind of heavy-handed right now. But let's get some intro. Let's get her up to the stage. What's going on? Because she not only knows the numbers, she actually runs the numbers. Okay. What's going on, Christina?
Wow, what an intro. Hey, how are you?
Good.
All right. So, Christina, thank you so much for coming through. I know you've been trying to get on for like hours, it feels like.
Yeah, it's been a struggle. I had to end up using a different computer.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we ain't going to talk about that, though. Kamari, I know you're about to get into your story right quick. If you can go on and share your story, and then we can get into Christina.
Yeah, it was just a quick story about property management, because I used to do property management with my father as well. We used to manage about 50 doors. And so when you said that, Justin, it kind of triggered me to think about a time when I was going to check on a property. I had evicted a tenant. They had moved back in. And not only did they move back in, it was a young lady. They moved back in and they were in the bedroom sleep with their girlfriend. I immediately backed out and I walked out of the house right away. It's like, I don't want no parts of this.
Right. Yes.
Because, certain situations you can win. You just can't win. So all you can do is I just left.
Yeah. No, you back out and you come at it from a different angle.
So, Christina, I know you're just joining us, but what we were talking about is setting those boundaries and as we dealing with family. And I know you're about teaching the parent and also the child at the same time, because we just talked about it. I just released your episode just last week. So if you guys haven't got a chance to listen to that, make sure you guys listen to our episode. It was fire. If you got children and you looking to pretty much elevate your finances, I think that is the episode for you to check out. So give us a little bit of couple tips or tricks that people can kind of run away with for the holidays.
Yeah, when it comes to family and finance. Yeah, so I'm always big on just being open with your kids and having these open conversations at home, right? And you also don't want to stretch yourself too thin. So these are kind of conversations that you should be having with your kids. Make sure that you're setting boundaries. It's okay for your kids to ask for multiple things, and it's okay for you to put boundaries on certain items as well. And so I think it's really important that I feel like sometimes parents feel pressured, like that they have to buy their kids every item that they want, or, holidays are coming and they just feel like they have to go above and beyond in terms of like decor and all this stuff, right? So I think you just have to think realistically, like you put a budget in place and you're just open with it. Like your house doesn't have to be like an HGTV type of house, like preparing for the holidays. Um, and so you just kind of have to be within your means, especially now with inflation the way it is and prices the way they are. So don't push yourself to the point that, it's kind of things are out of your budget, or to make yourself uncomfortable. And then always just have open conversations within the family and within the conversations at home with your kids. I think enough of us don't have these conversations, even among friends, when we're talking about the expenses for certain things and what to be within your budget. And so I'm really big on like always having these conversations and just being open about money.
Right.
So,
So
I just wanted to add something to what she was saying, is that those things that you want to do this holiday season that you are stressed out and you're unable to afford, just wait 30 days. It'll be on sale, 40, 50, 60, 70% off, and then you can have it for next year. And the other thing that came to mind is having these conversations, because this was when I was younger, just out of college. A group of friends would go out to dinner, and a couple of them kind of worked in high tech, and they were living at home, so they had extra money to spend, and they'd always want to go to these really fancy restaurants, like the French restaurants where you get this big plate and there's like this little tiny thing on it. And we just had to have this conversation about like, I can't be going out to dinner paying $80, $90 for this amount of food. And, because it makes you feel good and you want to have these experiences, you'll have to have those experiences on your own. And when we go out as a group, we're going to have to go to something that's a little more affordable and a little more reasonable. But yeah, I mean, it's just that being able to have those conversations is really important, like at every stage and with all of the people that are important in your life.
Yeah. And I think it's great, especially for the holiday season coming around, to have this conversation and be open about it, because, Thanksgiving is around the corner, within a matter of a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And I think this is a timely conversation because today is National Stress Awareness Day. And for those of you who didn't know, that, a lot of families actually get stressful around the holidays. People either just feel so much like they got to go buy gifts for themselves, and then for their spouse, and then for the children, and then for their children's children, and then for everybody else.
Just say no.
You know, that's what he said.
Like,
Should you buy stuff for everybody else?
that was a very powerful thing that a lot of us parents, right? Because I'm guilty of it myself, that if you say no and you understand why your no is your no, it shouldn't be an issue. And hopefully your children aren't entitled and they don't have a problem with dealing with that no.
All right. Anybody else want to tackle that one?
Y'all gonna leave me out here like the Grinch.
Well, no, because I mean, there are people who could take this too far. Like I've met people who are buying gifts for the mailman. Like you're buying gifts for people who are not an integral part of your life and your.
Whoa. The mailman bring them checks, man. The mailman bring them checks. I'm joking.
UPS man.
I also think, and I know what it's like, I don't know about for you guys, but I have two boys and they're in multiple, like they're in sports, and then they have, the older that they get, they have more teachers, right? And so I know that there are parents out there and they feel like I got to get a gift card for every teacher and every sports, but sometimes there are other ideas that your child can gift this person, right? And it could be very meaningful, more meaningful than a gift card to Starbucks, And so if and I know as an educator myself, like when I've gotten handwritten cards, those I keep. The gift cards I don't remember. And so there's still other things that you can do to show appreciation to these teachers, to these adults in their lives that, you know, will still mean so much more than a gift.
Yeah. I mean, and for Thanksgiving in particular, which is the one that's coming up most quickly, you don't have to do it all yourself. Like, it's a meal, like potluck that out. Like, somebody can do the stuffing, one person can do the turkey, somebody else can do the green beans, somebody else can do, the mac and cheese. Like, you don't have to take it all on yourself. Like, people are willing to help and participate in that. And it makes it more of a shared experience anyway. And, you might, learn how to spice up your recipe a little bit.
Just no raisins in a potato salad.
Yeah. I like no raisins.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you like raisins in potato salad, Anthony? Did you just say that?
No, I said no raisins.
Okay.
I have never seen such a thing.
Listen, I was doing a broadcast with a friend of mine on another show, and he was like, he actually likes potato salad. So I was like, usually potato salad is not the main thing in Black families, but okay, to each his own, no judgment.
All right, so with that,
still he got to the raisins.
So we're talking about gifts, and I want to do a gift giveaway. So in other words, y'all get to spend my money today. Isn't that exciting, everybody? Right. So because y'all get to spend my money today, let's take a moment. Just want to give a shout out to all the people that's joining us right now. So let's see who we got in the audience right now. Let's see what we got. We got Don Johnson was in the audience.
King Don's here.
Yep. Miss Eddie's Kitchen. Oh, I actually followed her from your show.
Good.
Good. Yeah.
That's my folks right there.
Yeah.
Still Rocks 33 is here.
Welcome,
y'all. Thanks for coming out. I shared this broadcast with my people as well.
Oh, thank you. Because we got Robin in the audience right now. Okay, we're talking about boundaries with Still Rocks. We're gonna get back to these questions because I want to get to these, but I also want to give out the gift because I'm in a good mood today.
Yeah,
it's the holiday season.
On the day of my granddaughter's wedding. Like, I'm sorry. I'm horrible like that.
That's bad Marlon Brando.
Unless I ain't got the beard now, because I expect this for November, it doesn't work.
You done lost your superpower, man.
I know. All right. So, for those of you who actually want to start spending some of my money, type in #gift.
So do I get the win?
If you type in #gift, you get it.
So if I type in #gift, I get the win as well.
You get the win as well, sir. So your number one entry. First one in. All right. So somebody want to get this deck. Right. So one of the cool things is that I love about doing gift giveaways because I'm actually get to give back and I like to share what people are doing. All right. So let's see if I can go back to share myself. All right. So the book I'm giving away is by, I need to shed some light. Some better lighting over here. It's called From Piggy Banks to Stocks. This is actually the first signed copy by the author. I'm not giving this one away. I'm actually just buying you one from Amazon.
Just to be clear.
Right. So it's the very first signed copy, okay? And if you guys want to get it, she's actually talking about, in this book, is the ultimate guide for any budding young investor. Introduce your child to the exciting world of investing and with this engaging workbook that makes learning about financial concepts easy and fun. I'm actually horrible, but it's actually pretty cool.
My guy Tim sending me this. You can only.
Oh,
sorry.
So with this workbook, as you can see, it's very intuitive. Her first book was all about investing, and now she's actually bringing it down to childlike concepts with images that you can easily follow with your children, even if you just want to do it for yourself. And I think this is an awesome opportunity. So right now, I do see like 13 people are streaming. Well, 14 people are right now watching it, and I only got 13 entries. I mean, 9 entries. So, you know, we got other books to give away too. So you can re-enter, but y'all need to make sure that y'all in for this drawing right now.
Yeah, like they say, you got to be in it to win it.
Right. So as we talking about this gifts that people putting in their hashtags for this book giveaway to spend some of Anthony's money. The cool thing I like about it, because thinking about it, I actually made about 5 G's this week just on the stock market. So it's like, hey, things are great. So please spend my money. One of the cool things about doing the gift giving is also those boundaries that we already talked about. We talked about the stressors, about finances, but now I want to take a moment to kind of think about what is it that like why do you give in the first place? Why do you give?
No, sit down here. Come on, sit down. Are you?
Anybody want to take that?
So when I think of,
no, go ahead, Christina. Ladies first.
Okay. So when I think about giving, a lot of times people think like giving is like a natural thing, but actually it starts from a young age. So when you're showing your kids, or, even if you're an aunt or uncle and you're portraying that you are donating your time or money and you're giving and you're being generous, that's actually when it all starts. So I think it's important for people to realize that it's not a trait that you're actually born with. It's a trait that you might have seen from other people, and you might have more experiences than somebody else. And, sometimes we see that other people are always giving and always donating, whether it's their time or their money. And some people are like, man, I wish I could be more like that, but you can be, right? And so I think now even more is a time where you can go to food banks, where you can, don't feel pressure like you always have to give money. You can give what you give. And then you start to feel like just this rewarding experience coming back. And some people just love that rewarding feeling when you're doing something good for other people. And so actually, as an educator, that's the experience that I feel all the time. And that's something that to me, it's the most rewarding feeling when you're giving something to somebody else and they're just really appreciative of it. And so I would say that when it comes to giving this time of season, and I feel like more people are usually generous like during this time of season, like they might tip more, they might, be happier more. So if you feel like you're not in that situation, put yourself in there, because you're going to experience this feeling of, wow, it's just like a rewarding feeling that you're going to enjoy, and you're probably going to want to experience more of that. And, if you do have young people in your lives, then I would definitely encourage them to experience that as well.
Awesome. So why do you give, Justin?
No, I would echo that. And then it's also interesting about giving is based on your background and your experience and your knowledge, you may be able to provide 5 minutes of help to somebody that saves them 6, 7, 8 hours or a week of work on their part, because they don't have the experience that you have. They may be approaching a certain issue that they're dealing with from one perspective, but based on your experience, you can approach it from a different perspective, and change their whole outlook, just by spending 5 minutes with somebody. And yeah, you're giving it away, you're donating it, but it's can be really meaningful to that other person. And like she was saying, it can be time, it can be money, it can be used clothing, it can be cans of food. It doesn't always have to be dollars and cents. And it was actually interesting. one of the nonprofits in the area, they were saying that, just socks and underwear are like the most desired articles of clothing. And so it's not the fancy jackets, it's not the fancy jeans, it's none of that. It's basics that a lot of people need. And those basics, like, they really mean nothing to you, but to that other person, it can be really impactful in their life.
Yeah. That's one of the reasons why I go to FinCon is for the socks. they got some good socks.
And the t-shirts.
Oh yeah, the t-shirts definitely. That's all year long. All right, so y'all ready for the drawing? This is the last time y'all get to go for this particular drawing. All right, we only got 9 entries, so you only can enter one time. So that's it. All right. Well, cue music. Hey, there we go. Let's go. Still rocks.
Still rocks.
That's awesome. So for Still Rocks, go ahead on and either you could shoot me an email at anthony@aboutthatwallet.com or shoot me a DM on any social platform that you're of your choosing, so that I can go ahead on and order this book and send it your way. Again, shoot me an email at anthony@aboutthatwallet.com. So you can shoot me that and I'll go ahead on and make sure it gets sent out to you. If you're not here, we can give this out to somebody else. Just saying. Because people will love some free stuff for the holidays, okay? All right. So now we gave that book giveaway. I think it's time to take a little bit of drink for me. I think it's about time. Kamara, you already know what it is.
Yeah, I forgot who I was talking to or who I'm broadcasting with. I mean, I got some liquor, but
if you got water,
this one is empty.
Okay, so you've been drinking without me, is what you're saying?
No, I was actually I was inspired to do something for the end of tax season. I never got to do it, so these are props. So I didn't drink all this Uncle Nearest by myself.
Cool. All right,
that's
so
my story, and that's what I'm sticking with.
Hold tight, folks. We gotta get these drinks going. Whoops, wrong one. So for those of you who are new to the show, we have drinks on my show because we want to give thank you and just saying thanks for whatever's going on in life. And then we have conversations while we have alcohol, okay? So I'm not sure what y'all drinking, but this is a peach wine.
Oh, I thought you were about to pour libations or something and give honor to the ancestors.
Oh, yeah, you can share that too. You can drink too. Oh man! So what are you guys drinking out there? So those of you who don't know, I normally drink. Those follow me. If those who follow Kamari, I'm sorry, Kamari. Welcome to the show. All right. So now that we got that out the way, we'll party up. So I did curate some questions for the show. Kind of cheated a little bit. So one question is, what are some starting steps to build generational wealth from nothing without having a business? It's a broad question.
Who do you want to go first?
Anybody, it doesn't matter. Let's go with Justin.
Well, I'd say the first step is, I'm assuming we're talking with people who are like starting out younger. Like, when you get that $20, $30 in that envelope from grandma for your birthday or Christmas or whatever, like, just, you know, split that up. Like, what portion is going to savings, what portion is going to investing, what portion am I going to spend, and consciously go through that process, even if it's as simple as splitting it up between 4 envelopes. In fact, my nephew has a piggy bank that actually has 4 separate compartments in it. You know, one's labeled savings, one labels invest, one labeled spend. So he's constantly making that decision whenever he gets money and he wants to put it in his piggy bank. Like, that's the first, I think, the very first step. And then, like, invariably there will be some emergency or something that happens in your life, and you're going to look at that part that you have in that savings, you're going to be like, wow, I'm really glad that that's there. Like, if that wasn't there, I wouldn't be able to, you know, buy this book for school or get this backpack for school or whatever it is that you're facing. And just those little steps along the way that kind of reinforce that saving element, that investing element, that, you know, not spending everything you get at the moment you get it, kind of concept that our society keeps hammering on with every commercial.
Every commercial. All right. So who want to take on this next question, which is, if your parent or parents do not have their end of life planned financially, how can you prepare for the possibility of being financially supportive, and should it be needed for elderly care?
I mean, I'm kind of going through that right now.
Okay. Share?
So I'm going through that right now with my mother. My dad's cool, but what I'm doing is I'm creating a sinking fund for my mother because she won't get insurance or anything else. And when we try to talk about these things, it becomes an argument. So, I mean, everybody has all these answers online that are all theoretical, right? But there's a difference between theory and application. And so when we get into the real nitty gritty of a thing, what are you going to do? I'm going to smack my mother upside the head and say, hey, get this life insurance. No, that's not realistic. So when the time comes, I just got to be prepared. So I won't have to do any GoFundMe's or anything like that.
Is it just that she doesn't want to do it, or it's a money question for her, or it's like, could you just set up the policy for her, kind of in a sense, behind her back, so to speak?
You could, but I still have to. Well, she's older now, so I could probably get some things done, but she technically still has to sign off on everything. I mean, there are some policies where I can get around that, but for the most part, the standard way of doing it, she will be involved in the process. And no, she just doesn't want to do it.
Now, Miss Eddie, she actually put up a good question: is what if your parent says it is your responsibility to bury them? I mean, I guess I'll take that one myself. So when it comes to burying the parent, and that's one of the things that I've talked to my mom about, is what is the cost to actually bury someone? Does she want to be cremated? Does she want to be buried whole? What does that actually look like? So I kind of work it backwards when actually going to or crowdsourcing different funeral homes in the area, see what churches that she wants to go to, and actually have this planned out in the will that she already has. So there is no question on what's happening and how she want to be displayed and so forth. I actually thought of a small business. I actually heard about it on the radio, and I was like, they were being facetious about it, but I was thinking like it could actually be a thing, and that they were calling it. I think it was called like they were taking the photos of people before they die. So they were taking like like, hey, we want to take your photo for the brochure before you pass away. And I was like, That's actually a pretty cool concept. Like, hey, go and get dressed up. Take your funeral photo. I mean, I'm laughing at it, but I think it'll be something like, you never know what is your last photo and like what photo that you want best chosen. But if you already have one that's taken and be like, hey, you know what, this is the photo that I want to have, put this on the brochure. You know what I'm saying? At least you get that last piece.
Right. So Anthony, sounds like you should become a photographer. You can specialize in senior photography.
Oh yeah, that actually sounds pretty cool. I gotta grow my beard back though. I gotta get my energy. Oh man. So we got some good people up here in these comments, man. Let's take a little shout out. So let's see what we got. Let's see. All right, going with the gifts. Going back a little bit, Kamari, I'm taking a word from you because I know you like to go back on your list of people because people be going through some things. Okay, Jada announced earlier that this evening, that sock giveaway tonight.
That's dope. Shout out to Jada. I mean, it's funny. I know Justin brought it up earlier, but I've dealt with a lot of homeless shelters and nonprofits, and socks and undergarments are some of the most things that people need that nobody ever thinks about.
Yeah, because my dad is actually homeless. I actually I try to catch up with him if I can. I just got to find him in the street sometime, and then I'll stop by, give him some of my old clothes or something like that if I see him. But it's depression. I ain't gonna go into it this episode. It's family and finance, but it's family. It's my dad.
Well, you brought it up, so that's got to be stressful.
It's something that I had to take myself away from to understand. Like, hey, it was his choice. I was living by myself. I actually brought him over and cleaned himself up, took a shower, stayed the night, whatever. And he was just worrying about everybody else that's homeless. And he was like, their children don't even come by to see him. Their children don't even come by to say hi. And he was telling me, like, if you want to donate clothes, just go directly to the people. Don't go to these centers that they think, because they picked through it first before they even give it to the people. So that was one of the lessons that he taught me, just being homeless. And yeah, so please, if you guys don't look me up online, you're just gonna find my dad pissing in corners and everything like that. So always something in balance. But anyway, yeah. Let's see. People are drinking some sparkling lemonades out there. Let's go. Got the cranberry. Oh, Carla, you got a whole bar, and you only gonna drink the cranberry sauce? You need cranberry juice?
Just trying to be healthy. Keep them kidneys clean.
Yeah.
Well, you got to get in shape before you hit that holiday season because more is coming.
That's Anthony Swigs on his wine.
Right.
Well, maybe that's just for us older folks. I don't know, Anthony.
Exactly.
So Robin had a good one here, which is plan the 3, 6, 9, and 12 months to save for the plan and to invest. Now that is interesting. My take on it when it comes to this 3-month plan and so forth is depending on your industry. It really depends on what your specialty is, because if you're a nurse, so you can just plan out for 2 weeks, you can get picked up immediately. But if you're an engineer, it could be 1.5 years or even 2. Because with AI in place right now, it's replacing a lot of people. So what do you guys take on it?
I think there's other factors like, do you have a family? How many kids do you have? Do you have a significant other that you can depend on their income if you're not working, And so if you're someone who's married and you're without your job, but you guys as a family can still stay afloat with your spouse's income, then that's going to be different from somebody who's maybe a single parent with multiple kids, right? So I think every situation's different, and you really have to think about, in your case, yes, you also have to think about your profession. if you're in tech versus if like you said, like you work in the hospital, things are going to be different. So there's so many factors to consider. So yeah, I would say you can't just go by those, oh, well, researchers say that I should have 3 months or 6 months worth. You have to think about other factors as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Those researchers have not walked a mile in your shoes. So
they haven't walked a
Right.
mile in anybody's shoes.
right.
And with
Yeah,
that,
I was going to say, I wasn't sure what Robin was saying about 3 6 a month. Like there was a strategy behind it, but I typically tell people, and y'all might think I'm crazy, but I tell people to save a year's worth of salary. Start with $1,000, get your bonus in play. And the rationale behind that was before COVID, right? It usually would take a person 9 months to find a job if they lost their job. So it would take them 9 months to find new employment. And then COVID came and just blew everything out the water, right? So I would say try to start working towards having a year's worth of salary set aside. And again, I know that might be hard and harsh, but as Justin kind of alluded to, these researchers are not walking miles in anyone's shoes. And some of these financial advisors and so-called financial gurus that say have a year, or not a year, 3 months, 6 months, I be wondering who are they advising, because that's not anybody's reality in this new America that we're living in.
right.
Yeah.
Robin,
Sometimes I'll also add that sometimes people feel that, they look at that large number and they say, wow, a year,
They get
that's
scared,
too much
yeah.
money. And then they don't even start, right?
Yeah.
But it's okay for you to have a 2-year timeline or a 3-year timeline for you to think about, this is going to be my emergency fund. And so if it happens to be that in a year you happen to lose your job, like you already are way ahead of what you were a year before. So again, when you see that big number, like, this is my goal to have this large of an amount, don't think that you're pressured to do it within the next 3 months. Think about it long term. You're building towards that.
That's correct. That's correct.
And I would break
agree.
down those goals. Like where am I supposed to be this week, next
quarter,
week,
or
next
yeah,
month,
exactly.
next quarter. Like break it down, because then it does not seem like so much.
yeah. All right. So I know we coming up to got 5 minutes left, but I want to do another giveaway. Justin, I gotta support you.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So what hashtag you want to do for your book?
Justin, you got a book?
Oh,
Yes,
Justin got a book?
yes.
Wow.
So
I got
let's
his book.
do hashtag rant, because that's something
Rant.
that stresses people out all the
Oh, yeah.
time.
Yeah, let's
So the book I have is called Rental Secrets.
all right,
And
let me make you full screen. Hold on, sir.
okay.
Oh yeah, there you go.
All right, gotta put me in the spotlight.
Yeah.
So the book I have is called Rental Secrets, and it basically teaches people how to save money on their rent and how to negotiate with their landlord. And it's just one of those things that doesn't get taught in school, which really annoys me. In fact, none of this financial stuff gets taught in school, but that's a whole nother show. But anyway, so these are strategies that people can use to negotiate with their landlord, save money on rent, and in some cases even negotiate that rent down to half, or in some cases even free. So there's a strategy in there for that as well. So yeah, I think that's a really good gift to be given away for the holidays, so people can get prepared for this financial tsunami that we're in with all this inflation and craziness.
All right. So I see the hashtags coming in. Is it rant? RANT?
RENT.
Okay. I just want to make sure we captured it right. So
Yes.
all right. So it's rent. Okay.
Rent. Yes.
ENT.
Yes.
All right. So but we can talk.
And I would also say for people who don't, even if you're actually not renting, I'm sure you know people who either children, grandchildren, friends, who are trying to hit you up for money to borrow so they can make their rent on Friday. So this would be a good thing to share with them too.
Awesome. Yeah, because you and I, we were chatting about your book, and that you are the only book about that.
As far
about-
as I know. So when I first had the idea about writing a book, I went down to Barnes and Noble and I'm looking in the real estate section and I'm seeing books for mortgage brokers and realtors and investors and property managers and everybody in real estate under the sun, except that group of people that happens to be bringing $500 billion to the table every year to pay the salaries of all of those people.
Wow.
And that's why I ended up writing the book from that perspective. And also because there's this friction and animosity between renters and landlords that is stoked by politicians mainly. It's not healthy. It's not really helping anybody, because both landlords and renters, they need each other. And I talk to landlords all the time and I'm like, this person is literally living in your retirement plan. Like your relationship with them is key to you reaching your goals.
You would think.
So before, because I know Christina, I know you're on a tight line right now. If you can just leave everybody with something right quick before you head off, tell them what you're all about and how they can get in touch with you if you need to get in touch.
Sure. So I'm Christina. My handle is She Runs the Numbers. I'm actually a family financial literacy educator. That's what I focus on in personal finance space. I am a current educator, a math educator. I still work in the school system every day. So I'm used to working with kids and parents, and my heart is for educating families and financial literacy aspect. I run workshops for teachers and parents and kids in that financial literacy space, because like Justin said, there is that lack in the school system. And so I'm just want to be that person who is in that space and make sure that the kids are getting the proper knowledge, and even parents, because a lot of parents, they want to teach these things, but they don't know how to, right? And so many times people, they're, especially kids, they just get the wrong information. So that's why I'm all about, like, I want to make sure that parents are having these open money conversations so the kids know that they can go to their parents instead of going to their friends and social media and so forth. So I'm mostly on IG. You can reach me at She Runs the Numbers, also on LinkedIn, but mostly on IG. So you can always reach out to me there. I'm also a real estate investor, so I definitely want to connect with you too, Justin.
Absolutely.
And I also talk a lot about the pressure of not feeling like you have to own a property, and because I think a lot of people have that pressure too. So yeah, I would love to connect and hear more about your book as well.
The rent shamers are real.
Right. All right. Thank you so much, Christina. And please go down and type in #rent. You might want a copy. You get to spend my money.
Oh, I'm not even logged in because I'm in this other computer. My struggles right now.
All right.
Next time I'll be more prepared.
Can I enter for Christina, Anthony?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so I'll put 2 and then I'll put Christina.
Oh, thank you.
All right, we got 5 entries. Let's go on and get this last drawing in, because for Christina. So let's go. Hey, we got a winner.
All right.
Hey,
Winner,
So-
chicken dinner.
Robin, congrats. All you have to do is just shoot me an email at anthony@aboutthatwallet.com, where the address that you want me to send it to. So if it's a PO box, send it to a PO box. If it's a one of those Amazon boxes, if you know your Amazon box name, shoot me that, and then I'll send it to that box name. So, congrats to you. Let's go on and get your breakout dance. Let me stop.
Anthony, can I address this question from Jim B. Looking?
What's up?
Well, no, he asked me a question. So he said, Kamari, what is a rent shamer? So, Jim, there's a lot of people online that shame people for being renters. They say the only thing that they should be doing is home owning. But actually, It's funny. I just talked about this not too long ago. Right now in the economic cycle, allegedly, it's cheaper to rent than it is to buy because with interest rates and home prices being so high, a lot of people can't afford to buy right now. So it's not always feasible, right? So I always talk about these people on social media that come up with these notions, basically just to sell you something, right?
Right.
They want to sell you some real estate course, this $9.99 real estate course to make them rich, to teach you how to become a homeowner, even though you might have a 450 credit score and no money in the bank, right? So, and it might not be because they're bad or bad stewards with their money. They just might have certain life circumstances. Like everybody situation is theirs. Personal finance is personal. But it trips me out when people try to shame people for being a renter versus a homeowner.
Yeah. And I'd also like to add to that. I do think the concept of ownership is important. But
It is. I'm sorry.
Yeah. But what you own doesn't have to be a house per se. It can be a business. It can be a book. It can be a podcast. It can be a course. It can be some good or service that you have created that provides value to other people. So it is important to own something. Other than your own labor, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a house. It's just real estate is what people are used to. So people gravitate toward it and people push toward it. And I would echo that it's not always the best investment to get into. But
I'm just
what I would say is the best investment. It's always good to get into is investing in yourself, investing time in listening to podcasts like this, reading books that add to your knowledge. So when the time is right to either buy a house or start a business or write a book or whatever it is that you decide you want to own, you're ready and prepared to do that.
Right. So I'll open up the phone lines if anybody want to give us a call at 866-29. I don't even know my own phone number. Look at the back end. 833-699-2558. That's what it is. It's 833-699-2558. If you want to give us a call, if you have a question or just want to leave a comment just to say how awesome the show is, I greatly appreciate you. And make sure you like and subscribe this particular episode because I want to make sure that this goes out to a lot of people to actually have the ability to give themselves that education and actually invest in themselves. So back to the comments here, see what we got. Robin,
can I just say I'm appreciating the full service level of that you are providing right now. We taking comments, we taking phone calls,
Hey, I'm trying to get back to the people as much as I can, and this is what this platform is here for. So, I greatly appreciate the comment. Thank you. I know Kamari is quiet, but it's okay though.
Well, what do you want me to do? You want to respond to Robin's?
I was thinking about the Robin's comment, so I was going to go with that one.
Okay, so Robin says you need a house, a business, or kids and efforts that have deductions for taxes. Without any of those, it's harder to grow financially. I don't necessarily agree with that. Kids are a whole. I have 3 of them, 2 grandkids, right? They are a whole chore and task, right? And yes, there can be tax deductions for home ownership, but it depends on your situation, right? Because you only get to write off your interest, your mortgage interest, your real estate taxes in certain situations when you are itemizing your deductions. And I don't want to turn Anthony Show into a tax show and bore everybody to death, but there's certain hurdles and thresholds that you have to exceed in order to do that. But again, listen, the tax code, I say, is the cheat code, and the most favorable asset class in the tax code is real estate, whether it's on the home ownership side or the rental investment side or the real estate professional side when you're actively engaging in real estate investments and or flips. right? There's a lot of advantages there. However, I run into a lot of people that hear that, but that don't take the time to invest in themselves, as Justin was saying, to really execute on those things and really make it good. Listen, one of the greatest things you can do is have skills to be able to provide to the marketplace and get yourself a job and make some money. But a lot of people don't like to hear that because it's not sexy. So
I like how you whisper the sexy part.
I mean, it is.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
Yeah.
But one thing so that people will wake up a little bit more when they hear about the tax and accounting part of it is that there are deductions that you can take for things that you're going to buy anyway. Like if you were going to buy a computer anyway, and you have a business, you bought the computer for your business, those things can be deductible. Of course, I'm not an accountant. You'll have to talk to your accountant, but there are opportunities to do things like that. So don't always tune out when the accountants speak because they have knowledge to drop. That's really important for you.
Right.
Robin is a tax accountant. All right. So I'm preaching to the choir. Gotcha.
So got a question from Jeremiah. It says, since the Lord blessed me to pay off my house, I've had to pay taxes for the last 2 years. Now that's awesome. You know what I'm saying? Because most, like, you got the biggest what do you call it? The financial
biggest financial hurdle out the way.
Yeah, out the way. Yeah, thank you. Because I was thinking about like something that eats up all your finances, and it wasn't coming out right.
Food and housing.
Yeah, I'm hungry.
Food and housing.
Because food is right behind it. I mean, if you don't get your house done, then food is right behind it.
And then transportation is right behind it, especially looking at the cost of gas. Oh boy.
Yeah. And then if you don't drive, you ain't got Uber everywhere. All those little scooters at like $17.
The bike may be making a massive comeback, y'all. So don't sleep on the bike.
In some cities it is.
Yeah, because actually there was a documentary I was watching, and this was they were in like sub-Saharan Africa, and like one of the first like major purchases they make is a bicycle because it multiplies their productivity by like 5 or 6 times. I mean, it's amazing.
Wow. So we got another question here. Look like it's for Kamari from South Made.
Yep, shout out to South Made SM, Financial Rebel.
Yeah,
that's for you.
Financial Rebel, finishing my bachelor's in accounting. What jobs are out there for accountants? Also, where can I find the recent tax code book? So I will start with the last. I mean, there's books out there. If you go to Cornell does a great job of housing the entire tax code on their website. Just Google tax code Cornell, and it'll pull up the laws for you right there. Going back to the first, congratulations on the accounting degree. I'm a finance major. They're very much related. You can't really have one without the other. And you ask what jobs are out there for accountants, you hit the jackpot, brother or sister. Accountants are in short supply right now. They are definitely in demand. One article that jumps to the top of my head right now, my brain, is over 300,000 accountants. That is a shortage of over 300 accountants for Big Four industries, right? So that's a great industry. You can do anything. You can go work for the Big Four. You can work in consulting. You can start a tax business like myself and Robin. I mean, there is a lot of opportunities there to get involved. The only advice I would say to you is just really get into it. Become a real student of your craft, because tax laws change every year. Might be a little change, might be a big change, but they're going to change somehow, some kind of way. So just stay on top of it.
Yeah. And it's something that's perceived as not sexy. So that's
sexy.
part of the reason why there's a lack of accountants out there, because everybody wants to be an influencer and they want to.
Well, that's part of it too, but it's also very stressful. It's also very stressful too. So, a lot of people are like, well, listen, I don't need to be an accountant to make, I don't know, $100,000 a year. I can, like you said, Justin, I can be a YouTuber. I can be an influencer.
So. Well, I mean, I've only been doing so I have my podcast, which is called Renter Confidential, and I've only been doing it for 2 or 3 months, but you got to put in the time, and it's like anything else. You got to put in the time and the effort to make it happen.
Absolutely.
Unless your last name happens to be Kardashian, and then you got something else to work with. But like everything else, you got to put in the time to make it work.
Sweet.
Hey, Anthony, can you pull up that comment from Robin? She's saying 50K are leaving the practice annually. I'm assuming she's talking about an accountant, right?
Okay.
Because they are not able to replace the attrition that's happening. So there's so many people leaving. I mean, it's really a great opportunity for you, self-made SM. No matter which way you want to go with it, it's a great opportunity. Let me throw this last part in. I would say seek a designation. I'm an enrolled agent. Become an enrolled agent or a CPA or something like that, because that will help distinguish you and help you do some things as well.
Now, can you explain to the people what an enrolled agent is? Because it was like I was this year old that I found out what an enrolled agent. When I started asking people, I was like, "What the heck is an enrolled agent?" Actually, no, it was last year. I'm sorry, last year. But yeah,
we are the orphan of the tax industry. But so you have CPAs. Everybody knows about CPAs, certified public accountants, right? Public CPAs are what I say the kings and queens of accounting, and a small part of accounting is tax. I am an enrolled agent. Enrolled agents are the kings and queens of tax, because that's all we do is tax. Not all CPAs do tax. Some of them do audit. Some of them do consulting. They do a myriad of other things. I mean, I have CPA clients and CPA refers that often refer me their clients. But the big difference is CPAs are licensed by each state that they are in. I am licensed by the Department of Treasury, i.e. the Internal Revenue Service. So I am licensed to operate in 50 states to help taxpayers with their tax problems.
All right. So I'm going to read it. This is directly from the IRS.gov website, what an enrolled agent is. For those of you who are listening to this, an enrolled agent is a person who has earned the privilege of representing taxpayers before the IRS or the Internal Revenue Service by either passing a 3-part comprehensive IRS test covering individual and business tax returns, or through experience as former IRS employee. So pretty much you get to represent people in front of the IRS.
Yes.
Instead of, if you go to H&R Block, they can't represent the taxpayer in front of the IRS if they have a complaint or,
Well, some of them are EAs, not many of them are, but it's I don't like the big box shops, so I don't even want to talk about them.
Okay.
And Robin, you're right. I was just joking when I said we're the orphans. We're not the orphans. We are, like I said, the kings and queens of tax. Yeah. If you have a tax problem, I would suggest you go to an enrolled agent before you go to a CPA.
Right. Okay. So this did turn into a tax show. But
I'm sorry.
It's cool though, because think about it. On my show, the audience seem to love 3 things, which is real estate, taxes, and then investing. Those are the 3 heavy hitters that I'm getting. And it might just be because of the Black and brown community is always seem to be left out in those conversations. But I want to bring that up to everybody because we don't have those conversations enough. And I appreciate you for taking the time out to share your expertise on an off tax season, even though it's never really an off tax season.
That's right. Tax season for me is all year round. Thank you, Ms. Edie. And Robin, you're right. Tax preparers are not all EAs. They are not. And not all tax preparers are equal.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. But if you look into be about that wallet,
Hey,
getting those taxes down is where you need to be at, because I mean, Uncle Sam takes his cut out of your salary first.
Indeed.
You get what's left over.
all right. So we got Jeremiah back in. Says, can an enrolled agent help an average taxpayer, or do they have to work with real estate?
Can an enrolled agent help an average taxpayer, or do they have to? Yes, they can help an average taxpayer. I help with a lot of average taxpayers, but guess what? A lot of my clients are real estate investors as well. So I help them both. So yes, they can. And I saw something.
Yeah.
Robin says EA solve the problems that preparers can't. I wouldn't say that, but generally that is true. Generally,
Just gonna
well, it's a technical thing. It's a technical thing, and you know, when we do broadcasts like this, having real technical conversations sometimes gets difficult.
Gotcha. I'm just playing around to see. Oh, I didn't realize I can do that. Sweet. So it can show a face.
Yep.
All right. Change my view here again. So
You got to change it under the brand down. The brand setting, I think.
Man, StreamYard is going places. I know we're talking about money, but StreamYard.
Yes.
All right. Yeah. So this is awesome. You know, Robin, I might have to have you up on the show. Okay.
That's a fact, Robin.
Yeah, Robin, you also just come on the show. Average taxpayers don't want to pay.
She's right. She ain't lying. She ain't lying.
I mean, I always pay because I wound up paying. I think on average is around $2,000.
But no, Robin's talking about the pay for our services.
Oh, pay for the services.
Our services are separate from the tax bill that you might incur.
Right.
So,
all right, that makes sense. Cool. All right, so we gave away 2 books. We talk about family and finance. I mean, at this point, I think we can call it a night. What do you guys think?
I did want to say something. So you said today was National Stress. What was the day? National Stress Day or Stress Awareness Day.
Mm-hmm.
I think that should actually I think every day we should have like a National Stress Awareness Hour. I think the stress level has reached that point where once a day we need to take stock of where our stress level is,
right, and
do something to dial it back. I mean, a massage, deep breathing, something. Because I just run across a lot of people who are just and stressed out.
Do you work out, Justin?
Yes.
How often?
Yes, exercise. I do my best to do it daily. I'm trying to do it daily is my focus, and I don't necessarily hit that goal because of travel and whatnot. But that is the goal I aspire to.
No, I was going to say that to your point, right? You know, a daily workout, whether it's a walk, whether it's jumping rope, jump jacks, doing some push-ups, whatever it is you can do, I think goes a long way to reduce stress.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I totally agree.
Yeah, and that's one of the articles that I had pulled up earlier today was talking about, dealing with stress and how to actually not really get over, but get through the situation. Let's see if I can pull that up real quick. Because this is actually from Forbes. Even though it's an old article, I still think it's still relevant. It's evergreen. Everybody go through stress. And so first off, to reduce your triggers. This is what they have here. The 7 things. I'm going to just read them straight off the top. So they say, reduce your triggers. Practice mindfulness and relaxation. That's where he said every hour you should have it. Improve your diet. I mean, alcohol is one. Take your time. Exercise. talked about that.
Anthony, you need a liquor sponsor because of the chance you get. You try to talk about liquor on a stress show.
I'm trying to get T Capri though, because it's a black-owned tequila company.
We'll get you some Uncle Nearest.
Yeah. Oh, Uncle Nearest? Yeah, I gotta reach out to them too. Unplug. So that's one thing that I think that we could all say, like, hey, you know, social media is stressful to some degree. You know, you're on it, you're scrolling through, and then you realize, you know, it might be 9 o'clock, you scrolling. By the time you stop scrolling, it's already 12 o'clock, it's lunchtime. And then you didn't do anything for the day. So,
and something else I'd add to that is whatever notifications that you have on for your phone, make sure they are actually important to you, because hearing that ding go off and you're always train yourself to respond to that, and you're responding to nonsense. So shut off the ones that are not important to you or not important enough to require your attention.
Like Teddy P says, turn them off.
Turn them off.
Notifications are the devil.
Yeah.
Oh man. Then you got cultivate a holistic view. I never thought about that, but I think I do more of this, which is to kind of talk about the separation, the spiritual inspiration. Yeah, you know, no, I don't go that far with the spiritual side.
Yeah. No, I like that one too, because sometimes we'll have a problem and we'll come up with a solution to that problem that creates more problems for us down the road. So thinking about it from a holistic standpoint, that way you're not creating multiple problems to deal with later on, and you're solving the whole issue at once, you know, as best you can.
Right. And I have seen this because I do work with a lot of military folks, and they say, far as, and this is a quote, says, if proximity to friends or family is limited, get a pet. And I noticed that a lot of military folks will get a pet.
Service animals.
Not even service animals, just a pet at home. Like,
I know, but I'm saying that they fulfill the role of a service animal, whether it's an official service animal or it's still for coping.
Gotcha. Yeah, and this is suggested by the South Carolina-based psychiatric and founder of Pursuit Executive Coaching, Pete Lauber, MD. He also continues to say interactions with your dog or cat can have similar effect to your overactive stress response and are proven to decrease stress. So if you have a pet that's stressing you out, I think it's time to get a new pet. Let me stop.
Those pets are expensive. So
if you find one out the streets, just give us some food.
No, because some of them need shots and all kinds of stuff.
That's if you want to give them shots. We about that wallet, sir.
Yeah, I know. And Peter is about to be about your wallet if you keep talking reckless.
Just cut down my whole shop. And then number 7 they got on here, which is learn about your nervous system. And it's almost like when a parent say you get on my last nerve. You got to know which nerve they on. You know so
you was one of those children. You got beat a lot, didn't you, Anthony?
Well, sure did.
It's like you smart ass.
Well, I always got in trouble because it was like, why you always in grown folks' business? I'm like, ain't nothing outside. Y'all having a more grown up conversation than what's happening outside.
And that's the other thing I've noticed, especially in a lot of Black households. They'll have grown adult conversation in front of the children,
right?
Which, you know, is gonna have an impact. And if you don't want me to be in your conversation, well, you shouldn't be having it in front of me, because I can't unhear what you just said.
Right. Facts. So Robin said another thing, which is turn off notifications at night. Actually, if you have an Android phone, you can schedule those. I'm not sure about Apple phones. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm team iPhone. Listen, you mess about group chat. Oh, you Android people mess with the group chat.
Well,
Hey,
well, I'll say this: you can turn off notifications at night, but you set it so your mom can get through when she calls.
there you go.
Yeah.
Because I think you can set up different calls for that. Make sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, what I'm actually plan on doing, I plan on doing a webinar. So, for those of you who last this long, which means that you got some great value out of this content. Because you got some great value out of this content, even though it was just, 4 of us here today. And the guy gave a shout out to Justin and Kamari and Christina for coming through. We're going to have other content creators coming in on the back end doing something very similar to this, but I want to do this the right way and make sure that we can continue to add value to you and so forth. So what I want you to do, I want you to get on my email list because I'll know because I'm monitoring my email list all the time. You can go to my email list, and the way how to get on that is to go to aboutthatwallet.com. See if I can do it. It won't even show up on that way. So it's aboutthatwallet.com/newsletter. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to send out a invite to the webinar. It's going to be Saturday I think I'm going to just do it from 10 to 11, just a short one. But it's going to be jam-packed with information of what we're talking about today. And it's talking about the family and finances, but on a deeper level. And I want to make sure that you guys get all the content, all the information that you need. So with that being said, any last go arounds between either you two? Which one do you want to go first?
No, just thank you for having me on. You can find me at the Finance Rebel on all platforms, and I'll wait till the next time we do something together, Anthony.
Awesome. It's probably be like what?
Tomorrow.
Week, right? Always on your show, dude. Right.
Yeah. No, Anthony, I appreciate being on the live. And if people want to reach out to me, they can reach me at rentalsecrets.net, or they can check out the podcast Renter Confidential.
Awesome. All right. So if you guys don't mind hanging on a little bit, because as I do the closeout, then I'll actually is that up. So if you guys want to join my newsletter, go ahead on and go to aboutthatwallet.com/newsletter. I know I put all this extra stuff in there, but it's just a copy and paste from the thing. So that you can go on and get on the newsletter, and I'll make sure that you guys get a copy or get added to the actual the newsletter. All right. Thank you guys so much. It's been fun. Congrats to all the winners for the books. You guys are amazing. You guys actually make this show. So I just want to make sure that you guys get everything that you need from us and all my guests for being on the show. Right. So let me find my outro and we out of here. All right, everybody. Peace.